Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can't even believe that I'm saying to week 3. It feels super crazy. I don't know if it feels like it's been going quickly for everybody else, but I'm definitely feeling that. I'm just keeping close to there we go. There's more people coming in, so I don't want to neglect anyone. Leave them out in the cold, the virtual cold. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello, Nicola joining us. Hello, Karen. Hello, Autumn. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Marcy. Hello, Braxton. Awesome. Okay. Romper room again. Awesome. Okay, so I think there's just one more person that we're waiting for. I'm not sure if she's joining for sure live, but I'll just keep my eyes peeled and we'll start launching in. We have a lot to cover today, so I want to just launch in so that we have all the time that we need for everything. But first, I just want to check in, see how it's going. Please feel free in the chat to write anything that you want to talk about. If you want to celebrate, tell us about the week, express any challenges, anything that's been going on for you. I very much acknowledge this is can be an up and down journey because we're all at different places in our life, right? We've all got different things going on. We've all got different family situations, stuff with the virus, our work, whatever else, right? Our own physical health, mental health. We've all got different things. So I just really want to acknowledge everybody's journey and where you're at and the energy you're coming with today. I hold space for you, love and accept you, whatever you're going through. So just feel free to share if anybody wants to share how they've been feeling this week, anything that's going on. Of course, any questions you have if there's something really going on that you need to ask before we can go forward, then do that. You guys have been so beautiful and awesome in the group. The group is like, this group particular, just being straight up honest, has been, I think, the best like group vibe. Like everybody is so there for each other, and that's not normal. Like a lot of times it's not normal. A lot of times people are nervous to share, intimidated to share. That's totally normal. And it's nice when I see you guys being vulnerable, sharing and supporting others. I feel like sometimes there's a day I don't check in because, I'm with clients or whatever, and I check in and someone's posted something and then there's like 13 comments underneath of everybody supporting them. And that is so beautiful because we all have such intuition and intuitive gifts to share. As you guys, I hope you found the photo thing fun. That's a glimpse into our partner exercises. So yeah, so fun. And that was just really cool to see everybody really sharing what they were seeing in everyone else. That was so cool. So I just want to acknowledge you guys really here for the community and supporting everyone else, lifting each other up. That has been amazing. And when I started this group, before I even knew the members that were in, I heard that there are deep soul connections in this group. And so I do definitely feel that it's not only like me with you guys, it's you guys with you guys as well. And so it's neat to just see that and know that we all work together to help each other. You're intuitively led to join this, you're intuitively led to comment and to support the others if someone's struggling or celebrating or whatever. It's such a beautiful process that you're here and we're all here on purpose. So I just wanted to say that. I'm just going to read a couple of the comments. Kind of want to know if the last person's joining us because it's half distracting having to keep checking, but I don't want to like leave anyone out in the virtual cold. Okay. Way too much to type. All good. When Sarah says all good, there's so much more, but I hear you, my love. Love the group. Yes, everyone is incredible. It's so fun. It's been a full week for sure. My apologies. I know I haven't been reacting to Facebook. Just know you're all in my thoughts. Thank you, Karen. No worries. This is like come as you are, choose your own adventure. You're not missing anything. Everything is perfect. Braxton, I feel like we're all born for each other. Yeah, weird, hey? Yeah, yes, I agree. Jessica, that was your favorite. The week or, oh, the photo exercise, I'm guessing. Where's Jessica? I can't see her face right now. Hang on. There we go. There's your face. Okay, nice. Cool. Awesome. Perfect, you guys. Well, I'm really excited. So today we're going to keep, if you're typing right now, keep typing. I will ignore, I will ignore what you're saying. I will acknowledge what you say and I will come back, but I'm just going to start. So, receiving exercises and receiving energy is a process of like opening up and allowing yourself to receive what life has to offer you. And that's not comfortable. So, just a few like really quick notes about this receiving is it's an ongoing journey, obviously, and there's always deeper levels. And this is something that I had to really really work on, and because I was taught a lot of things as a child about, I shared a little bit last week, but how like my mom would help me, but then it would be held against me. It'd be held over my head. I would now owe her. And people would let me down in my life, or that's what I perceived, right? People didn't care. And there was a lot of times where I really learned that I don't need anyone else. I'm alone in this. It's actually better if I have myself, because then other people can't let me down. I'm not ever counting on someone. I'm not being a burden. I'm not any of those things, right? It's just easier to be alone. But that pinches you off from the universe. That has you also saying, I'm good, I'm just going to be alone to the universe. And that's something we don't realize is like it starts as a protection to block us from being hurt from mom or dad or bullies or friends or whatever. But then it ends up you going like this in life to love, to opportunities, to the universe. So this receiving thing is such a big, it's such a big process. I'm going to read your comments in just a second. It's such a big process, and I'm always going receive a little more. I'll notice something even. There she is. Awesome. Now I can stop checking. This is perfect. I'll notice even. Hello, Julie, my love. I will notice that the receiving energy like keeps getting deeper and deeper. So there's times with like my husband, and this is just like straight up me being, because in these group containers, when I work with you, I like to be more personal than I am when I'm like on Instagram and stuff. So welcome to my husband's love life. I'm just kidding. But there's some times where he's like trying to support me. Like I'm having a tough day and he's like putting his hand on my back, and inside I kind of go like I'm suffering here. And like, I love my husband. We are soulmates, best friends. I'm fucking obsessed with him. I love him. But there's times when I'm like, and I'll kind of go like, what's up with that? And he's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. And it's like this push, push, push away. And so I'm constantly, even within myself in my marriage, I'm going like, let him in more. He's trying to help you. Right. Or even sometimes when he's like, hey, baby. And I'm like, I'm just like struggling, and I'm like, wait a minute, that might actually help you. Why are you pushing away the love? Right. So and it's not just in our partners, with our partners, it's friends, it's universe, it's yourself being able to receive your own love, to support yourself. So I just wanted to share that and say that it's an ever unfolding journey. Things are going to continue to come up where you're like, why am I resisting that? Why am I resisting that help, that guidance, that touch, right? Touch is a big one for us sensitive people, because it can give, and especially if you've been through trauma or any abuse, like touch can be a really hard one. So sometimes it's not that you just have to let everyone in, but sometimes maybe a friend wants to hug you and you're kind of, and then it's like, okay, yeah, why am I resisting that hug? Why am I resisting that attention, that affection, that, a friend reaching out? Why am I resisting that? So I know that you guys have been doing that this week, but I just wanted to say it's an ever evolving journey. It's not easy, but it will open up the guidance to the universe like nothing else. Like receiving is the portal to receiving, obviously, right? To receiving the things you want, the guidance you want, the state of being that you want. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, Nicola, I wanted to ask, oh, hang on, where'd you go? Oh, there we go. I wanted to ask about the photo exercise. Did you get the intuition straight away, or do you need to tune in and wait a bit? It's very different for everyone. The more you practice, the quicker it becomes. So When I always get into the space, sometimes the space takes 2 breaths and it's like, okay, I'm there. When I do client readings, when I'm doing the ones that some of you have had with me, like mediumship, chakra clearing, that kind of thing, I take a good moment before our call. I sit here like at about 10 to, I will gather. I will get my Palo Santo. I will take some deep breaths, really connect, because those sessions are like long channeling spurts where I need to like really be in there. But intuitive hits can happen in a moment or they can take a few minutes. So for some of you, I didn't get something in the first second. So what I do, and this is why I said to you, some of you respond to photos and not, but I look closer. I look closer at them and I look closer and I stare in their eyes because that's how it helps for me in your eyes, whoever it was. And I just look and look and look until I start to feel or hear something come forward. Or, like I said, intuitive type, right? It could be a feeling. You could feel heaviness or sadness, or you could hear something, all of those types that we went through. So sometimes it does take a few minutes, of course. And sometimes you'll look at someone and it's like, I'm getting nothing. And that is totally normal. And sometimes that is their resistance. Like we are all very open, but I could, if I just posted that on Facebook, like post a picture of yourself and channel for everyone, like I would not do that because it just kind of like opens up anyone to be able to start saying things to other people. Has to be trust. But, you know, there are some people that I can feel their resistance so strong that it doesn't even allow me to get in. Like you know, if I'm ever doing card pulls on Facebook, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, you're rising and transforming and you're a freaking phoenix and you're then I'm like, that's weird. I'm getting nothing from Mike or whatever, right? Like, because maybe they don't believe in it. Maybe they're terrified. Maybe they believe that they open up to the spirit world, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be scared. That's something a lot of us deal with and have dealt with. So they might be like, cool, I want a card, but I'm actually terrified inside. And that will block me from being able to access guidance. I can't access anything about you guys that you don't allow me in. So I don't ever sit there going like, oh yeah, trauma, hey, unless you've invited that forward. If you've said like, what are you feeling? Or you pay for a session and that's the container we're in. That's when I can access, but I can't just start going into your personal business. It's about you. So that's also sometimes another reason why you can't get something from someone. So not getting a ton from the photos, I would hold the image loosely and got one word and had no idea if it was intuition or random thought. Yeah, totally, Nicole. And that may not be something that sparks your intuition. The photos that, or maybe over time, the more that you practice, it will spark your intuition. Totally normal. It's just a fun game and it's interesting to see. I would also be interested, you could always go back and try again if you want with all of our faces, is to just sit longer. Like it might not be your intuitive type. So don't like be like 2 hours deep being like, okay, Talia, come on. But maybe sit for 5 minutes, like put a little timer on and just like, sit and see what comes forward. That could be something fun, is just to practice more. So, Sarah, I personally take a breath and tune in first thing that pops in my mind and then just let it flow. Totally. Yeah, that's exactly. When I go into a session with someone, I'm like, let's hope this works. And then every time, eventually, like something starts coming forward and then starts coming forward and then more and then more. And then as they open up and go like, oh, cool, I feel safe, that resonates, then it like opens the floodgates, right? But I just sometimes start with like, I can see joy or transformation. And then it like opens up more and more. So yeah, that's totally normal. I need to try again tomorrow. I was doing that, maybe pushing it too much. I did write down some things that came into my head, but they were quite random. Yeah, and they will be. And you'll find in the partner exercise, which is going to be really fun, that's when you'll have the space to even allow more forward. So we're going to be trying this again and with a slightly different angle. Yeah, and sometimes the random, this is why you need to try, because sometimes you're looking at someone, you're like, I'm getting red shoes. And they're like, oh my God, I wore red shoes to my first day of school. And that always reminds, and you're like, you know, or like I had someone a while ago, like a client, and she's like, I was with another client. I kept seeing like the McDonald's arch, and that's weird. And all she's like, I don't go to McDonald's, and I don't really like McDonald's, and I don't. I'm like, it's probably not about you. And so she just asked her client, and the client was like, oh my god, and it was about her father, and they always used to bond going to McDonald's, and he left, and it was this thing that she has. It was very important to her. So that's the thing, is it may be random to you. But this might sound harsh, but this is something I've learned to do. Who am I to judge what's coming through? Who am I to judge what your message is? Because diamonds may mean nothing to you. Another person, that's their grandma, right? Or McDonald's arch is like, that's weird. It might mean something that they all of a sudden start crying, or they say, yeah, exactly. I felt my dad close, and McDonald's always reminds me, like that. You just don't know. And so I've had to learn to trust that. Just one really crazy story is I did one of those 12-month forecasts on someone who is a friend and also a client. And I did it. And right now she's single. And I might have shared this story, but it said that she was going to be finding love. There was children, and there was a move. She's lived in the same place for like 10 years, hasn't been in a relationship for a couple of years, no children. And I'm going like, I can't pass this on. I can't, like, what if that's a big thing, right? And I was just like, fuck, who am I to judge, right? And so I started putting it out. She texted me yesterday, and she's like, oh my God, I'm moving. And she's moving to my island. And she's like, well, I'm getting transferred, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote back, I was like, what month was the move thing? She's like, August. That's when they're moving me. I'm like, oh my God. Like she lives where we went to high school. She's lived there for 20 years. Like so you just have to trust, I think, is the long and short of it, is like trusting what comes forward. You may not be able to make sense of it right now, but it is on purpose, and it is something. So it's just, as you go through this process, you can sort of decode it more too. It's all about space. I was at a park and just didn't feel good, left the park and came home and tuned right in. Yeah, that I agree. Your space, the space you're in, everything, it all comes together to help you. There's times when someone writes me that is a client, and so I'm like responding and engaging and intuitively like coaching them and stuff. And this happened yesterday. I was out at a chiropractor appointment, and someone wrote me a message, and they're like, what do you think this means? And I just wasn't in the space. So instead of writing back, be like, I'm not really about this right now. I just said, I'm out, I'm running an errand. When I get home, I'll check in about you. Got home, took a second to come into the space. And I was like, oh, try this. And she's like, oh my God, that's amazing. So it's totally about the space that you're in as well. Found out I was also just trusting what was flowing versus questioning it. Exactly, Jessica. Your flow is on fire. The things you're saying, you're like, just, it's amazing. I totally, I think just trusting and flowing with it, what you're hearing is exactly right. Awesome. Cool. Yay, everyone. Okay, so let's launch into today. We're talking about beliefs. We're talking about vibes. We've got a really fun exercise coming your way. I'm just going to grab my notes. So I created what I'm trying to get off my desktop, because it's what's filling up my desktop. I created a training for you guys because I recognize something that needs to happen. It needs to be, sorry, I'm just really trying to. Okay, so there's been talk this week about ego and intuition. And I realized that when I created this program, and I've tweaked it for this, I've actually changed a lot, but I realized that when I was teaching this, when I created this program before, I was teaching a lot about the ego and intuition. And I realized that that's a major gap right now. So thank you for showing me that, the asking the questions. Julie, your beautiful question about trusting intuition, and then other people coming in and being like, yeah, I've been struggling with that too. So I actually created an ego training for you guys that I'll be posting after this. And it's just like a short, like I think it's about 15 minutes with some slides, just describing the ego, diving deep into that so that you can learn how to separate it from the intuition. So when you get a chance this week, or whenever you feel like it, I recommend checking that out, letting me know, thank you, letting me know how it goes and how it resonates with you. And then of course, any more questions, just so that we can start to clear up the ego highest self thing. Is intuition similar to our unconscious mind? I would actually say no. You always know someone's sure when they get really high pitched. No, I don't know. Is it? I look at your unconscious mind more like the space junk that gets into your mind where your limiting beliefs, like subconscious stuff happens. Also, unconscious is like when you're driving, you're not like, okay, 10 and 2. Okay, stay in the lines. Like you just do it because you've done it so many times. That's the unconscious mind just rolling. There's probably times when intuition can come through unconscious, but I look at them as separate. That's a really good question, but I look at them as separate things
Can I
personally.
just
Yeah.
elaborate a bit? So I'm an NLP practitioner.
Mhm.
And so NLP is conscious mind is like 10%. Unconscious mind is actually where all beliefs, habits, decisions are all formed. And
Mhm.
when you can connect to your unconscious mind, it's almost like an inner knowing versus that like unconscious things that you do. So
Mhm.
I'm coming from a place of like, more often than not, we're talking about connecting to our unconscious mind because that's actually where all change happens and everything that you need. So we call it kind of that inner knowing. So I was wondering if it's kind of the same as tuning into your intuition as that like inner knowing that comes from, it's just from an NLP standpoint.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I don't even know if I can perfectly answer that. It feels like your intuition influences. Yeah, it's hard because your unconscious mind feels very human because it is where all your patterns and beliefs and like automatic actions. And like you say, I've learned that too. About 90% of what we do is our unconscious mind. It's our like automatic things. And that doesn't feel the same to me as intuition. But I think that your intuition can impact your unconscious mind. I'm going to think about that. That's a really good question. I'll probably come back with like a podcast episode or something about it. Like, here you guys go. Yeah. Thank you for that though. I love those questions. Okay. So talking about beliefs, talking about vibration today, fun exercise. And so I'm just going to launch right in. So beliefs. So right now I have my notes in front of me, but I will I'll check back at the chat in the video in just a second. So beliefs, and I know that you guys have varying degrees of understanding on this, but all of you do understand this, to some extent, that beliefs make up everything. So what you believe is the filter in which the filter in which you see the world through. So I like to use an example that a lot of us can relate to. Either we're this way or we know someone this way, or we can see that this makes sense. So if I had, a really awful experience in a relationship, say in my early 20s, maybe I was abused, maybe he cheated on me, or it was a really bad situation, I could start to create the belief that men are a certain thing, right? I had this bad experience. Men are dogs. No men are loyal. You hear people say these things, or all rich people are selfish, or, dishonest, or whatever. And so that alters the way in which you see the world. So now if I have this belief around men and I'm like, oh, I want a relationship, but all men are dogs and I can never find a good man. And, maybe that's what I've experienced. I'm going to start to attract more of those into my life, which then validate the belief. They go, see, you went on a date last week with that guy. He was a total douche. Or see, this guy let you down again. So it's the filter in which we see the world. And if we have this belief, say around men, and someone says to us, like, oh, I've got this great guy I want to hook you up with, what's going to be our first reaction? Instead of like, oh, neat, this could be the love of our life, it'll be like, oh, he'll probably be a dog, or oh, I shouldn't even bother. He'll probably just cheat on me, or whatever, right? Beliefs, it's like a lens you see life through. So now I'm wearing these like glasses of all men are this way. And say I meet some really great guy in a grocery store, he can't even like get in because I've got this whole junk around, like he's probably going to hurt me, he's probably this, he's probably that. So if he's like, oh, you dropped your wallet or some handsome thing, I'm going like, oh, what does he want? It's probably just, and this is how beliefs work, right? Like they bunch you up and they cause a lens in which you see the world in a certain way. And of course, beliefs aren't just bad. Beliefs are just what they are. They're just beliefs, but they alter the way in which you see the world. So when you're having those days where you believe that life is magical, or you believe like I'm going to get this job, or I'm going to take this risk, or I believe my soulmate's coming, or whatever, the way in which you see the entire world is different, right? When you're having a good day and like things are going awesome and your beliefs are in a good place, life just feels easier. But when you believe, like when you think and feel intuitively into the weight of believing, like, I will never do this, I will never heal myself, I will never find my soulmate, like, you guys can feel times when you've believed something like that, or just the weight of those beliefs and how heavy that is and how it impacts your entire life. So when you so this is just like the energetics behind a belief, right? It creates like this lens. And when you believe something to be true on a brain level, your brain starts looking for evidence for what you believe. Your brain and your ego want to keep you safe and right. So it starts looking for evidence to be like, see, to protect that belief and to keep it real and alive. So if I think all men are whatever, dogs or something, it's going to find evidence. Like, remember your stepdad that hurt your mom? Remember that jerk boss you had? Remember your best friend who got cheated on? Like, it's going to just keep going to create and make sure that my belief stays true, because you'll see this more in the ego training, but your ego wants you to be right, and it doesn't want you to look foolish, right? So if you believe all men are dogs, like, it doesn't care what you believe at all. It has um no moral influence. That's why people can believe horrible racist things, or sexist, or whatever, prejudice in any way, because beliefs and your brain, it's not a moral thing. It's just what you plug it, what you believe, you will see evidence and you will continue to believe it more. So if you believe that you can't get ahead, or that money never comes easily, or that every time you get some money, another bill comes, you have to spend it, or every time you make a little headway, people believe this thing about one step forward, two steps back. It's like, I would want to ask them, like, are you experiencing that? And they'd be like, yeah, my whole life I've experienced that, right? And that's that belief cycle. It's like, what came first? And if I'm like, well, that's just happening because of your belief, I'm not just going to walk up to someone and say that. But if we're in the right container and I'm like, that belief is creating that result, and they're like, but the result's creating the belief. And I'm like, but the belief's creating the result. And it's this chicken or the egg thing. So what you believe is so, so, so important to the results you're going to get in life. So in this respect, for this program, I want you to examine your belief. This is the first part of today, is examining your belief about what you believe intuition is. So do you believe intuitive guidance is actually available to you? Do you believe that intuition is safe? And it's okay to not, right? Like, I'm not here to try to convince you otherwise. It's really good introspection. It's good because if you're going like, I'm not getting intuitive guidance, and then we dig in and you're like, oh, I do believe that listening to my intuition could be unsafe. Or I do, like Julie had shared, there's, other beliefs coming in with mental health and the things she'd experienced. And so this isn't about like making her believe, or you believe, or anyone believe anything. It's to just go within and start to go, okay, are my beliefs around intuition congruent with what I want, right? So I know that sometimes I receive guidance really easily. And especially as it was developing, sometimes it was super easy and sometimes it wasn't easy. And when it would not be easy, I would notice like it's not working. It doesn't come to me easily. I can't do this. Like, the answers aren't available. Like, I would start creating those beliefs, but that just creates more. So I just strictly about your intuition, I would love to know if any of you are present to any of your beliefs about intuition. It could be intuition's always available to me, or intuition seems more available to other people, or it never comes through when I need it, or it's never clear, or it never makes any sense, right? Just starting to witness your beliefs around intuition and see where there's room to shift them. And I'm going to help you with that. So share, if you can, any beliefs coming up around intuition. If I was to say, like, I believe that about intuition, positive, negative, Debbie Downer, or what's the one for the upper? I don't know, the happy beliefs, the sad, whatever, just sharing those and becoming aware of those. So this is so good. As I was typing it, I'm like, this is gold. What you believe. So you get, okay. If I say it's gold, I should have it eloquently prepared. You get what you believe. So you need to believe what you want to get. Right? I love those. So what you get is what you believe. So you need to believe what you want to get. And all of you, I don't know what all of you do for professions, or, what your passions are, or whatever, but you need to believe that you can do it, that you are capable, that it could happen, that, and I know some of you that have worked with me, I love saying this, like, there must be a way, right? That's so great, because it doesn't make you claim you've got it all figured out, or that you're this millionaire. It's like, there is a way, right? That's the first thing we need to believe. For a very long time, I sought guidance from others, but I've learned to look within more. Yes. Growing up, I was super Christian and used to believe that I heard God's voice, and that kind of went away as I left the faith, but now it's come back as inner knowing. Totally. So amazing. Yes. So see, interesting how your beliefs changed, right? You probably believe certain things being Christian, believe that you had heard God's voice, but then as you maybe rejected Christianity, or moved away, or phased out, or whatever, maybe you didn't know what that, you kind of rejected the voice, but now you can welcome the voice back in and believe that that's intuition. That's that inner knowing. You get what you get and don't throw a fit. Totally. My kids say that from school. You get what you get and you don't get upset. I love it. When I'm like, here's your broccoli. Right on, children. Times when I didn't believe something, I faked it, and then it did. Then it did work. Yeah, totally. Sometimes it's like that kind of fake it till you make it thing. I like to actually say, here's some wisdom, be it until you become it. Because there's something about faking it until you make it that people go like, I'm faking it. It's not real. And it kind of stops people right there. So I like to say, be it until you become it, which is the same in essence. It's just, to me, it doesn't resonate to fake being a millionaire, but I can like start to embody the me that is wealthy or whatever, right? So that's just a tidbit there. I grew up knowing about intuition and that many of us in the family had it. However, it was also taught not to trust mine, but others knew better. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting how someone else could know better than us. Julie feels the same as Jessica. Right. Did you grow up Christian, Julie? Yeah. Yeah, that really can have a big impact, does make a big impact, because you're taught a certain thing about the way of the world and spirituality and God. And and it's really drilled in there, my oldest daughter, her dad is a Christian. And when we separated like 10 years ago, he went way back into the church, and now she's around him. And I see I have no like scars or distaste Christianity, like whatever floats your boat. I love it all. It's great. But I do see sometimes this like drill sergeant-y thing. And like she gets money for like the more Bible verses she can memorize and things like that, that it's like, oh, it can be very intense. And so I can imagine growing up in that way, having it, drilled into you, and then now trying to like incorporate that with whatever you're trying, whatever you're believing in now. It's indoctrinated in you that you're not good on your own. You need something outside of you to be good or saved. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh my goodness. Inherently evil and need forgiveness. Ooh. It's intense. Well, I love you guys, and I'm grateful that you're here and starting to even just see those words and going like, whoa. like you're saying, it's kind of fucked, like seeing it now. And I know you've already done some of this reflection, obviously, but yeah, very black and white. So just allow everyone else's experience to help you here. Whether you're brought up Christian or just struggle with these concepts, like there is the I believe there is the like fluid truth that flows through all religions and spiritualities and channelings. And someone would say that Abraham or the Seth books or something are completely opposite to Catholicism or this, but really there is truth within it all, which is that higher wisdom. It is that source. It is that flow. So I'm grateful that you guys are finding your own gray, right? In the black or white. Okay. So with beliefs, so we need to look at what we believe about intuition and then start to change that. I'm going to take you through the process, not change at all, just change anything that's not serving you, anything that is holding you back. So you get what you believe. So you need to believe what you want to get. If you want to get intuitive guidance, you want to be able to connect with your spirit team, with your intuition, your highest self. All you need to start believing is that it's possible, right? Like you are literally in the right place. You've invested in a program to teach you about it. So you can start to say, I think I believe it's possible, and I am learning. I can't wait to uncover my version of intuition, my relationship with source, right? Even that is better or a more conducive belief than like, I can't trust. I'm not sure it's real. I don't know if I have it. I know you guys know you have intuition, but I know you know what I'm saying. Practice witnessing your belief and being intuitively led to know which are helpful and which are harming you. So that's a lot of this week. That's the first part of this week, is practicing seeing your beliefs and being intuitively led to which is helpful. And I know there's times where you've witnessed yourself speak or you're doing something. Like there's been times when I'm like reacting in a certain way, or I'm like venting to my husband about something that happened. And all of a sudden I'm like, listen to yourself. Like, I never have enough time. And I just feel like when life calms down later, I'll be happier, or, whatever it is. And I'm like, just listen to yourself. So it's going to be like a process this week of really just like witnessing, like, did that just come out of my mouth? Like, is that conducive to what I want to believe? And especially when we're talking about intuition, really just being aware of those things that come out of your mouth. The word occult was and is used a lot in life from others. Yeah, I feel like occult is like darkish, but I'm not 100% sure what it means. But it feels like almost like anything that's not God is like occult. It's like witchy and weird. I'm like, hey. Okay, so yeah, yes, Sarah. Witchy woman. Is that a thing? Hey, girl, hey. Okay, you're over here in the occult. Okay, so back to my notes. So belief journaling, I have a few prompts for you, and I'm just going to run through them really quick, just a couple of them, because there's a lot more to cover. So these are just some questions you can start to ask yourself and journal through if you feel called this week. What part of me doesn't believe intuition is real? What part of me thinks that I can't trust in it? Oh, this is so good, you guys. I'm like, I'm going to rush through it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I shouldn't rush through this. What part of me resists my intuition and is scared to lean in? And this is where we can like not be judgy, just have open arms. What part of me is scared to lean in? What part of me is resisting this, right? And these are all in your notes. You can write them down if you want, but they will be coming to you in the workbook. So say, and then something I'm going to get you to do is, what would be the phrase or words that you would say when you're doubting your intuition? Unless you completely don't doubt it, then you don't have to do this. But if there's a shred of you that doubts it, what would be the thing you'd say? So this is like to a girlfriend or in a safe space, or if you're talking to me and I'm like, what's going on? How can I help you? Right? What would you say? Like, I don't know, I can trust it. Or what if I make the wrong choice? What if I listen to it and it's the wrong choice? Right? Or what if it leads me astray? What if it leads me down like the wrong path? What if I hear the wrong voice and then listen to the wrong thing and like mess everything up, right? Or how do I know if it's actually my intuition speaking? Like, I don't know it's actually my intuition, so I cannot trust it until I know which voice is which, right? Let me know. Some of those may resonate with you. And those are those are beliefs that are not wrong. They're just beliefs that float around in our being. So those are some, my notes keep wanting to disappear and it's really frustrating. There we go. So after you kind of extract, like, what is the phrase or the words I would say if I was doubting my intuition? So I don't know if I can trust it. I might make the wrong choice. I don't know what voice is what. And so I can't trust it till I know it's my intuition. Because what if I'm trusting the wrong voice, right? Those. And then the second part of this is once you kind of extract that sentence or a couple sentences of what you would say if you're like, I don't know, then we're going to ask, what way does this belief keep me small? What way does this belief block me in my life? So imagine if your phrase is like, I don't know if I can trust my intuition. In what way does that belief block you in life? It's like, huh, by not being able to trust it, I'm not asking very much. I'm not accessing it. I'll hear it, but I'll do something else because I don't know if I can trust it, right? And then in which way is this belief stopping me from stepping into my highest self? So, like, it starts to get kind of deep. And again, this is why if you choose to do the journaling, it's really going to open some stuff up. Because if your phrase or your complaint or your sort of concern is like, my intuition might lead me astray, so I can't trust it. And then we start asking, how is this belief blocking you in life? How is this stopping you from stepping into your highest self? And then the last question here is, in what way is this belief blocking you from helping others? And I don't just mean like if you're a coach or a consultant, I mean like in your life, your children, your family, your clients, your coworkers, your partner. How does the belief of like not being able, am I crazy? Am I just crazy? Totally. How does that belief block you from like showing up in your life? And again, this is like, I can just say this now, but the real gold is going to come forward with you exploring these questions and kind of going through the process. So that's just some of the journaling. And I just want to remind you that it's safe to trust and you're in the right place to ask all the questions about, is this the voice and how do we know? We're going to keep diving into that. So the next part I want to talk about is owning that this is who you are. This is just something that I felt really that I needed to say. We're going to talk about owning that your intuition is part of you. You guys have all done a lot of work. You've also been with me through, some of you, like, we've been one-on-one clients. You've done the free intuition challenge and you've done some of this work, so you're more close to being able to own it than, or you are able to own it better than a lot of people. But I just want you to be able to own and just start entertaining, like owning your abilities, owning your sensitivity, owning this gift of energy that you can feel. And if you're not ready to do that, that's okay too. I love and accept you, right? Everyone's at a slightly different place for where they've been. And we're talking about religion and things that have been ingrained. So it's okay if you're not just going to walk away being like, this is who I am, I'm owning it. But try to own it as much as you can. This is my gift. This is an innate thing that runs within me. This is something that I can use to better myself. There is an inner knowing. There is a nudge that says, like, drink water or give that homeless person your muffin or call your mom. Like, we all have times when we have that inner nudge to like help someone, support someone. And then all of you guys have had inner nudges and knowings in your life with the people close to you, with friends, with family, where you're like, you've given some incredible advice or insight where they've just been like, whoa, right? You do have this within you, even if sometimes it's unclear. It is within you. So it's really time to step into owning that even more. It's more that others don't believe my intuition. Yeah, totally. And that's when the owning it's going to help even more, because like I said to you, with just trusting in the message and going like, who am I to get in the way with what the message is? It's kind of like, even if others don't believe it, just knowing that it came to me for a reason, right? McDonald's arches. Someone else might go like, that's not your intuition. You just saw McDonald's earlier, right? But then the person who receives the message goes like, oh my God, that's my dad. And it's like, we have to just trust, but I totally hear you that other people don't believe it. So it's easy to not believe it too. And there's some people here who I've worked with that their spouses or partners like don't believe in intuition or don't think that it's legit. And you just got to kind of keep going and keep, if they're the person for you and you're, staying in this relationship and you're there, that's your person, you got to just start. Like what I recommended to one client once was like just starting to be like, I don't know why, but I feel like there's going to be like a great parking spot available. And then like, bam, there's the parking spot. And the partner's kind of going like, what? Like instead of trying to convince them, you just have to like continue showing up. And then people are going to be like, how did you know that? Right. Or when you're like, I don't know. I know, Sarah, you shared with me sometime where I think it was with your husband and you were kind of like, I don't know, but I feel like this, it was something that wasn't going to pan out. It was a couple of years ago you shared this. It's like this trip is a bad idea or this event isn't going to pan out. There was something. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, and then it doesn't. And they're going like, wait a minute. Like that is the best way to convince the people around you without actually trying to convince them because their beliefs will block your stuff. So, yeah, it's, we just got to keep going into the light. I had two really strong, crazy audio moments, once in the grocery store and once when I was driving, and I heard pedophile so clear inside. It was crazy from two different random men. I get that with people, not necessarily always that like exact word, but it's almost easier for me to pick up on people's darkness than it is their light, unless it's my client. My client, when I'm sitting with you, like I feel like all I see is your highest self and your highest expression. And like, I love it. But people in life, like in grocery stores, I get that too, where I'm like, I will get like done bad things. Like and it's like, I don't know what that person's going through or hiding, but like it can get really intense. So I can resonate. And sometimes I just go like, if there's nothing I can do about it in this moment, then like it's just flowing through me and I have to just kind of keep going. Okay. Yesterday at the park, instantly felt I was not safe as a man drove past me in a beat up maroon Suburban. Yep, time to leave the park. Yeah. And that is like pure intuition protecting you from something, right? So beautiful. Okay, so owning this part of you, practicing it, like basically owning isn't like, this is me, everyone, like, suck it, this is who I am. It's more about owning it and practicing it and trusting it and continuing to explore it, really. Like all of you, whether you've been indoctrinated with religion or have a hard time believing or what, all of you are here for a reason. There's a part of you that does believe in the nudges you've received, the way like what a client needs or a friend needs, like I mentioned to you, right? Like this is within you. So just trusting that and trying to own that part of you a little bit more, however that looks for you. And one journal prompt, this isn't in the workbook, but I just heard it, is like, if I owned my intuition, who would I become? I like that. If I owned my intuition, who would I become? And so this next thing I want to say is about being committed. And this is, again, these are all things that I'm going to like encourage and drop on you. And then it's up to you to like try on and see if this feels right. But I want you ultimately to choose to commit to hearing the voice of your intuition. Choose to commit to exploring it, to giving it a chance, to opening it up, choosing to commit to the voice of intuition over the mind chatter, choosing to commit to the voice of intuition over the fear, right? Asking yourself, what voice am I choosing to commit to? And if we haven't made sense of the voices yet, you could just say, like, what am I choosing to commit to today? Is it love? Is it fear? Is it intuition? Like choosing to commit to love, choosing to commit to your intuition, choosing to leap, choosing to follow those inner nudges, those nudges you've had in your soul and have had for a long time about healing, about, writing the book, about starting the business or whatever it is, just getting super healthy and happy and, whatever it is. choosing to commit to that vision over the fear, over the I can't do it, who am I to do this? And again, the ego training is really going to help you with this too, but it's just a nudge to wake up committed to your intuition. And this doesn't mean that we're not going to pay attention to the brain. It doesn't mean that we're rejecting the brain or rejecting logic or anything like that. It's actually more welcoming in intuition to work with you. So if say you have a great idea and you hear like that's never going to work, or that's too much money to charge for that, or whatever it is, choosing in that moment to be like, I'm just going to choose to commit to the inspiration more than I'm going to commit to the fear about it. Right. So again, we're not rejecting the brain. Like we couldn't. That's such an important part of who we are. And it's such a key to understanding the way that we operate. We're not going to reject the brain. We're just going to welcome in the intuition and stay committed to that side of life, the magic, the nudges, the truth within, right? So waking up in your day, in your life, committing and recommitting to the energy, to the magic, to the intuition that goes through you. And that will help you when you are feeling good about yourself and you're feeling, whatever, you look in the mirror and you hear some awful thing, and it'll have you trigger like, wait a minute, I'm going to commit to the voice of love for my body over the voice of scrutiny or whatever, judgment of my body, or what, every other example you could possibly think of, right? Like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to pay for rent or make more money. It's like, wait a minute, I'm going to choose to commit to like, it's going to work out. My intuition's telling me like, it's going to work out. I'll be okay, over the voice of fear. So you see, I'm not rejecting the brain. I'm not trying to give it not the cred that it deserves, because the brain is such an important part of us, obviously. But it's also committing to that intuition. I know when I meet somebody for the first time, if they will be a part of my life in any way, yeah, I totally agree. Some people, like, to me, they glow. It's hard to put a thing on it, but it's like whether it's their words or the way they look, something about them glows to me. And I'll be like, I can just tell you're going to be important in my life. And it's crazy. I get that too. I choose to commit to my intuition. Yes. Scream it from the rooftops. Yes. You instantly know who your people are. Totally. I know. It's so cool. So that's it, right? Is that energy of choosing to commit, or even just backing up and going, what do you want to commit to? Right? That's the first question I'd ask you. Like, what do you want to be committed to? Do you want to be committed to fear? Do you want to be committed to limits? To like, I don't know, I can't trust, I better not try. And I don't say that in any kind of like mocking tone. It's more that that voice is there for all of us, whether it's about something that feels really legit or something like you're taking a big leap and you're just scared, like whatever it is, it's gonna be there. So like, I'm gonna commit to the voice that is telling me to continue exploring. So something I'd almost say for the question Julie asked about the intuition and mental health and mental, when we hear voices, something like schizophrenia, bipolar, like you were explaining, when we could maybe hear like a dark voice, and how do we know what voice is what? Even just committing to be like, I'm going to keep exploring this. I'm going to keep grappling with this and thinking about it. And because if you just choose to not listen to your intuition because you experience some things, it's valid, but it will keep you small. So you don't have to like sort it all out right now or just be like instantly healed and erased everything that you've experienced, because that's in you. That's what you've experienced. I'm never going to try to take that away from you. But also you can just commit to being like, even though I experienced these things, schizophrenia was in my family. I was taught that maybe I shouldn't trust the voices in my head. I've seen them hurt people, or had people hurt themselves because of them. Even though I have that, I'm still going to choose to commit to just like seeing what intuition could offer me, seeing more about this, because there's something that feels really good when I lean into my intuition. There's something that feels really good. So I'm going to commit to just continuing and not shying away just because of fear, not taking a difficult topic like mental health. It's a difficult topic to like, I can't come in here and be like, I've got this all figured out, but I'm at least going to keep going. Right? Some people might be like, you can't trust it, see ya, but that's not your path, right? It's to commit to keep trying, to keep uncovering. Checked out right now because my intuition was talking to me about me and how I don't listen for my own good. I'm not listening for my highest good. Interesting. That's awesome. Just thinking for the people that hear their intuition. Yeah, totally. So you mean in regards to what you were talking about and then talking about like clairaudient, how would you know which one is which? Is that kind of, yeah. Is the biggest gift. Aw, happening to me and I can commit to something different. Totally. We don't have to be either or, right? It's all the things. It's, yeah, I've been taught some crazy shit that limits me sometimes, or at least is like something that I grapple with, but I can also still choose the light. It doesn't have to be either or. Yeah, I think, Julie, like, I'll just be short with this because we do have a lot to cover, but I do feel like, as I said in the text, like something like schizophrenia is you're the nurse, and a lot of you may know more about this than me, but schizophrenia is something that impacts the mental health. And in some ways, it's an anomaly, right? It's not the norm, meaning that everyone that's hearing a voice in their head is not schizophrenic. Schizophrenia is a real, diagnosable, probably chemical imbalance, I would guess, something going on in their brain that is sort of more the anomaly. So I'm not going to speak to if schizophrenic people can have intuition, because I believe they can. I believe we all can and all do. But your ego, that's a very great way for your ego to be like, see, right? You can't trust something in your head because what about this? Like, what about your brother? What about your mom? What about these times? And it's a great conversation and it's a great thing to be like, yeah, what about those times? Like, let's explore that. Let's talk about that. But it also doesn't have to stop you from believing in yours. And that's all that I kind of wanted to say is it's a great way for your intuition, or sorry, your ego to be like, don't go any further. Like, you probably can't trust it. See these things. So this is actually a good place with the prompts of being like, who would I be without that belief? And how is that belief stopping me from stepping into my light? How does that belief about, and I'm not even saying that you even necessarily believe it still, I don't know, but that belief that I can't trust my inner voice because, say, my brother or my mom, that there's inner voices in there that do them harm. How is that belief stopping you from stepping into your next version, right? Like, it will block you if you let it. And thankfully you're here. You've had to push through whatever it is to even just be here. So I'm super proud of that and excited that you're here. Okay, so owning your gifts, owning this is who you are, owning your intuition, committing it, right? So being committed. And this is something that like I learned in a personal development course about being committed way back in the very beginning of sort of this, I don't know, whatever, like years ago. And it really helped me to be like, what am I committed to today? And some days, this is just the way I talk, and my husband gets it because he's on this page, thankfully. But the other day he came home after like a long day of work and he's like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm really committed to overwhelm today. And he's like, you're what? I'm like, super overwhelmed. So instead of being like, I'm overwhelmed and there's nothing I can do about it, I just own it. Like, and I'm not that I'm perfect, but I'm like, yep, super committed to overwhelm. He's like, okay, so can I help you? I'm like, first of all, I just need to get a bunch off my chest. I'm overwhelmed because the kids are this or this or that, and this is this and this is that. And he's like, I'm like, okay, that's everything I've been committed to. And like, once I kind of take a minute and I can get it off my chest, I'll kind of recalibrate and be like, okay, I'm ready to come back to being committed to life, being committed to having enough time for the things I need, or committed to me, or whatever is the contrary, right? But I'll own it because I'm like, today I am super committed to lack. And it's like all I can think about is how much I don't have enough this, or I don't have enough time, or I don't, and starting to like recognize that, right? Like, what are you committed to today? So for the sake of this program, being committed to your intuition, being committed to that gift and that voice. So the next thing I want to talk about is about vibes. And I really want to, I don't want to keep you guys for too long because we have the activation to do, but also this is so important that I don't just want to rush through it. So first of all, I'm going to talk about high vibes, and then I'm going to talk about low vibes. And hopefully I'm going to spark some things in you today. So high vibes are, I also gave you the scale of vibration. I might do a screenshot of this, but it's in your workbook. So high vibes, when we say high vibration, right? Everything has a vibration that it omits. Like science can measure these vibrations. It'll be like water vibrates at this, and light vibrates at this, and like everything vibrates at different. I actually believe that different colors even have different vibrations. That's how things work. So when we say high vibe, things that feel good have us resonate and be functioning at a higher vibration. Our cells actually vibrate at faster or slower frequencies, and that's what we're talking about. High vibes, low vibes, is it's like as we feel good and as we align, source is the highest vibration, love is the highest vibration, love is source. And I believe that's why they say God is love, which is something I never understood before, because I was like, it doesn't feel very loving, all that judginess, but I get it now. God is love. Love is source. That is that highest vibration. So when we are aligning with the highest vibration, we open ourselves up to all of it. That's where we experience like overwhelming gratitude, where we're moved to tears and brilliant ideas and manifested money out of nowhere. That happens in that high vibration place. So it would be great that I say to you, like, be high vibe. And that's what a lot of people talk about, is like, I've even seen this culture that's a whole other thing, but I see a lot of people with, memes and t-shirts and stuff that say like high vibes only. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but not exactly how life works. That's not a very good aim to have for yourself. Of course, like feeling good is the aim, but imagine if you were like feeling good all the time, no matter what, with no wavering. That's the goal. It's like, okay, but you're also human. So just to explain, like high vibes is the place where everything opens up. It's where we feel really good. It's where forgiveness and compassion and excitement and ideas and joy and all the things come from. So there's that. And then there's low vibration. And I have been taught over and over that there's kind of only up or down. There's kind of only black or white, which isn't normally the way that I teach or what makes sense to me. But in this respect, I get what they're talking about. So low vibrations are those lower vibrating emotions, negativity, overwhelm, as I was saying. That's why I'm all scrunchy about it. Feeling fear, feeling grief, feeling guilt. So shame is the lowest vibration that there is. And this is one that generally makes sense to people when they really get it. Shame and guilt are the two lowest vibrating emotions. So you think when you are in the thralls, like you are in the trenches of either guilt or shame, and how there's kind of no worse feeling in the world. I think that's why as kids, we kind of like, we lie and then we realize that like that feels awful. And then we lie again to try to get out of something and we realize it feels awful. And then we learn lying feels shitty, because guilt and shame, it's just like the lowest vibrating emotions. So it's easy for people to teach that low vibrations are bad, that we need to just be high vibe. But I'm just going to flip this whole thing around. You would expect, as I said, that I might say low vibes are bad and they're distracting you and they're blocking you from your dream life, right? Because everything happens in the high vibe place. But that is absolutely not the way that it's working. Low vibes are the most powerful teacher. Your transformation comes from your ability to be with and transform your low vibes. Your success doesn't just come from your ability to be high vibe. Your success, and I say success in every meaning of the word, comes from your ability to move through and learn from your low vibes. Like, this is the putting on the big girl pants. This is really stepping into like what the deeper levels of being a seeker. And that's why this work is not always easy, because when you're feeling really overwhelmed or you're feeling shame, it's hard to be like, what is in this for me to learn? But let's just be honest. If we can learn from our low vibes, we have an express pathway. So when you feel low vibe, say it's worried, negative self-talk, anxious, overwhelmed, or just in lack or whatever it is, it means This is so important, you guys. It means that you have strayed from your truth. This is something I could go on for hours about, but I have to keep it succinct. I got to reel it in. The reason you feel shitty is because you have strayed from truth. Said another way, source shows you you have strayed from love, from truth, by creating a bad feeling in your body. An uncomfortable feeling is the indicator that you have strayed from your path of love. So feeling bad just indicates that in this moment, you have strayed from source consciousness, from truth, from the ultimate expression of who you are. And it's not just bad. You can use this as your example, or as your sort of advantage, is what I was trying to say. You can use this to your advantage. So every single time you have a low vibe thought or emotion, it is showing you exactly where you need to transform or release. So much like if you guys listen to the podcast episode I sent you that is not, professionally podcasted, but it was just that recording. I was talking about the moon in that and how the full moon reflects back at you what you need to see, heal, flip, release in order to call in what you want. So if you're wanting to manifest more money, I'm just going to use a very physical example. And then all of a sudden you're overwhelmed with thoughts of like, oh my God, and I have debt over here in the bank, this and this fee, and how am I going to do this? Right? That is a direct indicator, first of all, that you've strayed from the fact that you are ultimately abundant. But then the second thing is like those thoughts of lack, those emotions of like not enough is what you need to flip to manifest the thing. So one more example is like, say you're trying to lose weight or heal your body. When you start getting into the mindset of like, this is never going to happen, I'm always going to be in pain, and you start feeling worse and worse, number one, that bad feeling is the feeling of disconnect. It's it's the oil and water. It's the nails on the chalkboard of like, you have strayed from the truth, which is you can heal. You can step into that version of yourself or whatever. And that is the exact thing that as you can learn to step up to and be like, interesting, this is coming up. Okay. So not only are low vibes like interesting, like, what triggered that? They are the portal to everything. Like, they're the biggest gift. When I am ready to up level and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to take money to a new level, I'm ready to take success, self-love, right? I all of a sudden get faced with all the things that are bad feeling, because that's what I need to transform. So this is beautiful because in this program, you're being encouraged to develop your intuition, to use your intuition, to uncover your intuition. I am sure every single one of you this week has had moments of like, fuck, I can't do this. I'm not getting the intuitive hits. It's working for everyone else except me. I'm trying. I'm not getting it, right? Those are the exact places that we can learn to soften. And I'm not the one that's going to say, attack those thoughts, get rid of them, abolish them, debolish, no, abolish. I don't know, get rid of them, dissolve them, whatever the word is. If you're trying to develop your intuition and then you're all of a sudden getting thoughts of like, it's not working for me, it's working for everyone else, I would be like, those thoughts are holding you back more than what your intuitive ability is. It's not your ability, it's those thoughts. Those are the things that are blocking you. So it's really important this week that I don't know what you're saying, Braxton, but I love it. Hallelujah. I'm an excellent lip reader, almost professional level, just so you guys know. I can like watch TV shows and just read lips. So if I'm watching you, you can mouth things to me. My kids always test me. Okay. So low vibes are not just bad. In fact, they are our most valuable teacher. And I truly will say this, and I'm just going to say it one more time because I really want to hit it home. Your progress is going to come from meeting your low vibes where you are, choosing to love yourself anyway, choosing to like make your way through it with the processes I'm giving you and whatever else, whatever processes you come up with in your life. Your transformation is going to come from overcoming those beliefs and those problems more than they're going to come from how often you can just sit in the light or how much you can meditate. Like those things are amazing, but they're amazing because they help you to deal with the low vibes. They help you to get over the limiting beliefs. They help you to move through those limits that are blocking you. So your limits all reside within those beliefs and those yucky feelings. So that's something I want to say about the low vibes is, and I give a bunch of examples and I go off more in the workbook, but it's really important to realize that when you're in a low vibration, and I have some questions for you, when you're in a low vibration place, you can go through these questions. Or if you're just not having it, because let's be honest, when we're in a low vibration, we're not usually like, this is the time for me to meditate. A bath feels good. Sometimes we are, but sometimes like when my husband came home and I'm just like, I'm really committed to overwhelm. Like in that moment, I'm not like, but namaste, friend. Like I'm up here. I'm like not having it. So you can either use these questions when you're in the funk, or what I like to do is I'll say like, note to self, this is really triggering. I got to come back to it, but right now I just have to feel through it. Like I'm not going to try to speed heal through this. If you guys haven't heard, there's a podcast episode and it's sort of near the beginning ish called Feel Your Feelings. And it's with a coach that used to be my mentor. And she talks about this, how it's important to feel our feelings, but sometimes you can put it on the back burner and be like, right now, I'm just going to like be in this. But as soon as you're ready, start to ask yourself some questions. And in here, I have a page called Extracting the Gold from Low Vibes. And this is what you can do to move through in the moment or move through it after. Like, what am I believing here that's not true? What am I missing? What is this low vibe calling me to release? Or intuitively, what's actually going on here, right? If I'm like, I'm going to manifest money, and then I have this week of like, I've got no money, I'm screwed, I'm desolate, I'm going to be homeless, and I go off on myself. It's like, what's really going on, right? And it's time to go within and see. You will move mountains quickly when you're brave enough to look at your low vibes. And this is around intuition. Like one of the most important things you can do is really look at what you're believing in that is not true, or where you can flip those beliefs. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to go to the exercise of the week, and then we're going to do the activation. I hope you guys have the track. This is such a beautiful track that I sent you today. It's one of my favorites. It's like this hand drum thing. It's so beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to read the comments. I was about 16 when I did something bad. I felt really awful about it, realized I was acting like my mother would do. Then and there, I decided I never wanted to feel that way again. Totally, Karen. That's exactly it, right? That shame or that guilt or whatever. And you're like, it's not worth it. Yeah. Marcy, so much. Yes. I had the same shame and guilt around my divorce. So low. Yes. I had a lot of guilt about my divorce as well. Guilt that I wasn't like giving him the life he wanted. It wasn't necessarily about me, but it was like, he had this picture, like we were literally shopping for white picket fences when I told him I was leaving. And I just felt so awful. I was like breaking his life, but it's so much better now. Yeah. Whatever makes you happy, whatever gives you high vibes. Love it. Noted. That was me. This was me. Nick, I wonder what you're talking about. I was there this week too. Oh, yes. The feelings about the intuition. Yes. Also recognizing if they truly belong to you or not. I say noted all the time. Totally. Yeah. Noted. Thank you.
You missed the kitty remark from Braxton.
Where's the kitty remark? Which kitty, Braxton?
Braxton said that Abraham said if petting your kitty makes you happy, then pet your kitty. And I said, which kitty?
Love it. Love it. Yes, Braxton, which kitty? Share with the class, would you? We don't know. And any given day, who knows? I love that. Thank you for that. Okay. Namaste the fuck away today. I like that. Like namaste in bed. When I first saw that, I laughed. To your low vibe comment. Yeah, totally. So do you guys get that too? Um, Sacral chakra needing love, just about the low vibes and how they can be your absolute best teacher. Yes, any kitty, any and all kitties. I don't know what kind of call this just turned into. If anyone needs to turn their camera off, you can. Okay. And on that note, okay, so I'm going to help you this week. And this is a really fun exercise if you choose to do it. It's so elegantly called I'm So Fucking Worthy. That is our exercise for the week. And we're talking about beliefs. And Sarah, I bet you remember this one. I one belief that is really damaging to us, and this exercise gets to crack open a whole bunch of like really beautiful feelings. It's not one that is heavy. A lot of the other prompts are like, what am I pretending is not true? And how am I holding myself back? This is like the most feel good, which we need both, right? We need to get into our shadow and we also need to explode our light. So this exercise feels so good. And so something that I want you to work with this week is your belief about you, what you're worthy of, your ability to call in your intuition, and your ability to um, be worthy, or sort of your belief about what you're worthy of, your belief about being worthy to call in the life you want. And so first, before I get to the exercise, I want to say that you are innately worthy of the things you want. And I'm going to like way expand on that. When you get the things you want, when you get to live the life you want, who you become is someone who serves us all. So I'm not just talking about like when you get like the ice cream cone you want, or when you get the new pair of shoes, like that too. But when you get to be who you truly are, when you get to step into it and you are unlimited and you have the money and the self love and the education or the partner or the travel or whatever it is that you really deeply want, when you have that, you show up in the world as your light. And this doesn't mean that you can't show up in the world without your light, or with your it doesn't mean that you can't show up with light without having these things. You guys know what I mean. It doesn't mean you can't shine your light if you don't have the stuff you want. That's not what I'm saying. But when you intentionally create the life that you want, you explode your being, you turn into your essence. So, to kind of make this probably make a bit more sense, if you had absolutely unlimited money, let's just go there, what would you be doing with your money, right? Some of you might say, like, I'd hire a mentor, I'd go on a trip to Spain, I'd buy my dream home, I'd become a yoga teacher and take the training, I'd whatever, right? Whatever money could give you, you would do these things, including like buy yourself some nice new clothes, maybe a laptop that you need, maybe, there's things, there's experiences, there's all sorts of things that you would do if you had actually absolutely unlimited money. And I want to say that you are worthy of that, because when you show up, when you take that course, say with your unlimited money, you're going to go on say it's a retreat, a silent retreat for 10 days, and it costs thousands of dollars with some guru, right, in Bali. I might just be saying about the retreat that I want to go on. But when you do that, you become a person who is stepping into their light, who you would be in that experience, what you would learn about yourself, the experience of traveling, the connections you'd make. You'd come back with your light even a little bit brighter, right? So if you had unlimited money and you bought your dream house, you would be in your dream house. And I know you could be miserable in your dream house, but we're talking about you as a seeker, you as this magic maker, you as this person who's just gonna live a really incredible life, right? So you buy your dream house and now you're feeling inspired by your space. You've got a gorgeous kitchen where you have the space to cook, and you've got beautiful appliances to like be making beautiful food, and you've got, a reading nook where you lose yourself all day reading, and you get to look out your window at forest or the beach beach or whatever it is, right? You have gatherings in times when it's safe, friends and family gathered around the table and you're hosting things. And like that life you see for yourself, those things that you would buy, those things that you would do, you are worthy of, because when you do that, when you get to have those things, you step into your light. When we are in debt, when we feel alone, when our clothes are itchy and don't fit us properly and have holes in them, and or we're driving a car that stresses us out or is always breaking and it's causing all, it's not safe. Those things accumulatively lower your vibe. They have you feel like, I'm just not living the life I want. Like I don't, and again, stuff is not what makes you happy. But for the sake of this, a lot of people feel like they're not worthy to have the things they want. Like, why would I ask for a Jeep when I have a perfectly good Honda? Or why would I ask for a dream house when I'm fine here? Like, I don't need all that nice stuff. Like, I don't need my dream house. Like, I'm perfectly fine. It's like, well, isn't there always sirens outside your window? Like, yeah. Like, aren't you in an unsafe neighborhood? Yeah. I'm not saying you guys, but we compromise because we think we're unworthy of the life that we want. We think that, like, I should be fine on my own, or I don't need millions. And not everybody needs millions. But if that's your dream to be really wealthy, it's really easy to be like, I don't need to have that, right? Other people are starving. I don't need to take it all. Why would I take money? It's like other people then don't get it. But think of what you would do with that money if you did have $1 million. We're talking about the things you would buy. You would also donate. You would also, I'm sure, be creating businesses or charities or giving back to something you feel really passionate about. You could support your local women's shelter. You could, help eating disorder treatment centers or whatever is close to your heart. You could do that, right? I have a good life. Why do I need a functioning pancreas? Exactly, right? I'm fine. Why do I need to miraculously heal? Other people have diabetes and don't get to heal. So, like, I'm fine. Like, it's all good, right? And that's totally, I know you're just saying it in fun, but that is totally what we think, right? So, worthy to step into the life you want, worthy to have nice things. And again, I'm like one of the least, I would say, like, material people, meaning like I've always had friends that buy like tons of purses and tons of label this and what, and I don't care about any of that shit. I like cotton, I like Lululemons, I like pretty simple stuff. So I'm not talking about your fancy handbag, but if that's what lights you up, you are freaking deserving of that. If a pedicure every week or two lights you up, you are deserving of that. Don't limit what you truly want for yourself because not feeling, it could be that you're very aware you don't feel worthy, or it could just be a bunch of other reasons, right? Like, if I have money, then I'll make my parents feel bad because I'll outshine them, or, whatever it is, it feels like you're taking from the poor if you have more money, or, whatever. A lot of times we're afraid of outshining people, whatever the reason is, we don't feel worthy of what we want. And so this exercise I'm going to take you through is all the reasons why you are so fucking worthy of the life that you need. And I'm going to warn you, 90% or maybe more of the people that have gone through this program and exercise felt super awkward doing it at first. I had a few people that are just like, I'm into it. I'm dancing naked in front of the moon doing this exercise. I am good. Other people are like, I am so uncomfortable. So be what you are, try to lean into it. But here's some examples. So I want you to think of something that you want, that you have been trying to receive intuitive guidance around. So, you know, healing your pancreas. You've been receiving intuitive hits about how that could happen. You're being led in that way. Or I am trying to unlock my purpose or my next level of abundance, or call in love. I want to use my intuition to call in my soulmate. So I want you to take something that you really want. And as I say the examples, things are going to come forward for you. And then when you dive in, even more is going to come forward. So it starts out with, I am so fucking worthy of receiving blank because. So I'm just going to riff on some examples. I am so fucking worthy of receiving clarity and guidance around my purpose because having this clarity would bring me that calm mind. I would start to be able to show up and serve people in a different way. This stressful situation would be taken care of wondering about my purpose and feeling stuck. It would be taken care of, which would release so much pressure and weird feelings inside me. I'm so worthy of getting clarity on my purpose so that I can show up and serve the world. So that I can show up as my authentic self, so that I can get clarity on this piece of me, so that I can feel joy and really know every day that I'm stepping into what I'm meant to be doing. Like, can you see how you're worthy of receiving that information? So, another thing is a very physical example. I am so fucking worthy of receiving $5,000 to be able to take this program or get this certification or take a trip, whatever, right? So, I'm so worthy of receiving $5,000 to be able to take this course because in this training, I'm going to learn new things that are going to help me and going to help the people around me. This training lights me up. I can't wait to work with that mentor and be in their energy and go on the retreat or go to the classes. It makes me feel fulfilled and like I'm really exploring more and learning more. I am so fucking worthy of experiencing that program, right? Or of calling in the money for it. So another example is I am so fucking worthy of healing. I'm so worthy of loving my body because when I love my body, I get to show up in love, in ease, in gratitude for what I have. I show other people, I show my daughters, I show my friends how to love their body. I am so worthy of finding that deep self love because when I have that, I show up magical. I spread my joy to other people and I become a catalyst for other people to find their joy, right? I am so fucking worthy of this healthy body. And I know some of you can really relate to this because being healthy makes me feel amazing. I am so fucking worthy. And if fucking doesn't resonate, if it makes you feel weird, just change it, flip it. It's all good. That's just me. I get riled up and I love it. Um, being at ease in my body makes me feel amazing. I've wanted this for so long, and I'm just realizing how worthy I am of it. Because when I become super healthy, I will impact others. I will inspire others around me, and I'll gain the tools and the insight that I need to help my friends, to help my mom, to help my husband, to help my friends, my clients step into their healthy version. That's why I'm so fucking worthy of this. And just one more, and then I'm going to check your comments. I'm so fucking worthy of being out of debt. I can't wait to make that last payment. I am so worth it. I am so worthy of an overflow of abundance and to not have to worry about debt anymore. When I'm worried, it suppresses my energy. When I am not worried about money and the moment I'm debt free, it is going to feel so freeing that I will feel lighter in my step and I will be able to have more ease in my life. I'll be traveling, I'll be buying gifts for people, I'll be donating to charities because I have so much abundance and have paid off that debt that I get to live more free. I am so worthy of being a miracle attractor of abundance so that I can do so many good things with it. When I have all my money, I'll be able to support businesses. I'll be able to buy people's art. I'll be able to, donate to those charities and do special things for people, surprise friends and family with like outrageous gifts and vacations. It's going to be amazing. I am so worthy of that unlimited abundance. So there's a few more examples here, but I would love to know what's coming up for you here. Reminds me of one of my daughters who often says, I don't have the money for that, but I will buy it anyway because I know the money will come. Yeah, totally. That's cool. You know what's funny though? I'm just going to say, if you buy it anyway, you did have the money for it. you know? And that's one thing we do. We're like, I don't have the money for this, but I'm going to do it. And then you pay for it. It's like, wait a minute. That means I did have the money for it, whether it's credit or whatever, right? Like you did, right? Which is something I talk about with like the grocery store. And I think I shared this with you guys last week or recently. I love going to the grocery store and just being like, I could buy anything that's here. Like if I could buy any one thing, because what is it going to be? Like a $40 roast or something, right? I could do a $40 roast or a Swiffer. I could do a Swiffer. So instead of like, I can't, it's like I actually could. And so that's interesting. It's a cool thing to be like the money will come. And I totally believe like leap and you'll be compensated for sure. But it's just funny how that happens. I legit wrote them down. I'm so fucking worthy. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. That's so good before I even said it. That's so perfect. So have some fun with this exercise. I'm going to recommend you just like get into it. Just let yourself remember why you are worthy. Let yourself remember that innate worthiness because it's nothing. The last thing I'm going to say before we do the activation, the worthiness is like the worthiness I'm talking about is an innate worthiness as a soul, that every soul is accessible and worthy of health and healing. Think about if somebody did really bad things, say there was, abuse or robberies or rapes or they murdered someone. If they really deeply like turned a corner and really wanted this good life, like would you sit there going like, nah, you're not worthy of a good life, even though they did something bad? If there was a true miraculous healing and they wanted to come back and be a functional member of society, like so many people do, to say like, nope, you're not worthy of that. Remember that time you robbed a bank in 99, nope. So yeah, if someone's been to jail, you might not welcome them over for a dinner party, or maybe you would. I mean, who's to judge? But I'm just saying like, it doesn't mean anything besides they are worthy of love too, of turning a corner, of becoming alcohol free or whatever it is, like even if they've done those things, because this worthiness comes from source, it's nothing to do with what you have done or haven't done. And I want you to know that like worthiness has nothing to do with what you've done or haven't done. The things you've done or not done have come from the human self. There's times of desperation or times where you lash out or you punch a wall or you cheated on someone or you did like those things that eat away at you inside. Those were just you on the human journey trying to figure it out. It does not mean that you are less worthy of abundance of love and of intuition, of being guided, of having support. Even if you've done something really awful, I'm just going to say this by having that sort of back end view with spirit guides and stuff, no matter what, they're looking at you like, like so loving. And if you were like, yeah, but remember that time I cheated on my boyfriend when I was 20, or I did this really bad thing, they're going like, and we love you. Like, wasn't that an important lesson you learned? Or yeah, what did you learn by that? Like, you're always welcome to the dinner party. You're always welcomed in the front door. They're always ready to hug and support you, no matter what. So I just want that for any of you that an argument comes in, like, yeah, it's easy for her to say that you're worthy, but she's not the one that's $100,000 in debt, or she's not the one that did that awful thing. We've all done awful things. There are definitely things I have done that I am not proud of. But those are things for me to work through as a human, forgive myself, shadow work. It doesn't make me less worthy of being successful, happy, healthy, healing my back pain. Like if you look at it, it's like, yeah, right, right? You cheat on a boyfriend when you're 18, or you stole some money in your teens or whatever. It doesn't mean you're less worthy of healing your body or living a joyful life. So I just wanted to say that as we go into this, they love and accept you anyway. Always, always, always. I am brave. I am strong. I'm enough. I am worthy. Yes, you are innately. There's no reasons why. It's not even like I would love to tell you guys are worthy because you're such good people, but you're worthy anyway. Even if today you turned around and did a shitty thing to someone, you're still worthy. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to hold space. I'm going to see you for who you truly are. Your guides and angels are doing the same. It's not about what you've done. So just try to like let yourself off the hook. And for me, as things arise, there's things with guilt and shame to do with my eating disorder that sometimes creep up. And I will tell myself, I see that creeping up. and I'm still worthy, and I love and accept myself anyway. And that's a real thing that happens. There's things that I did that was purely out of desperation, lying, manipulating, all to hide the eating disorder, hide the drugs, hide the stuff, like not proud of it. There was a time once, I'll be really quick, but there was a time once when I was at the worst in my eating disorder. It had turned into bulimia, and it was on Christmas Day, and I was at my dad's house, and I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't, I don't know. It was what my life was at that point. And I was upstairs in the bathroom, and finally my dad came. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yep." And that little moment, I felt so much shame. Like everyone's having Christmas and joyous and loving. And I'm like hurting myself. I'm like punishing myself. I'm hating myself to such a deep level. It makes me feel emotional. And the shame and the guilt and the feelings, right? And every once in a while on Christmas, or if I'm at his house, I'll have this like body flashback of like, and I'll sit there and I'll go, I send you love. I send that version of myself love that felt like she needed to do that on Christmas. I mean, not that Christmas matters, but it was just this moment for me where it was like, whoa. And it's, I love myself. I'm so sorry you were going through that. And you're still worthy of an incredible life. You're still worthy of it. So I just wanted to share that little thing, um, and say how worthy you are. It's much better than hearing through religion that I will not be judged the same as believe we will not be judged the same as everyone else. We will be loved for how we handled what we are given and how we are loved. Yeah. Yeah, that's a contrast, definitely. That's one thing that I have a hard time with religion is there is a lot of judgment. And I just don't believe in it. I believe you judge yourself. I don't need to judge you. You're the one that is feeling that anyway. You know what's right and wrong. Like you don't need that extra stuff on you, but that's a whole other thing. I love you too. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so we're going to move into the activation. If anyone has any questions right now, of course they can ask. So, what we're doing today in our activation is we are turning on our innate worthiness, our belief systems, aligning it with source, and really encapsulating everything that we just went through tonight in an upgrade. So, in the accessing of your next level and what they think about your worthiness, about your intuition, about your belief systems, and really embodying that. So you guys can start to get comfy, get the track if you'd like. As always, just take as much time as you need to set up and get arranged. Just start taking a few deep breaths. Finding the stillness. Starting to get comfy, come to this moment. As you open up to the truth of who you truly are. Grounding down, rising up, tapping into that worthiness, that ability to attract everything that you want and become that person. So, taking a few deep breaths. And I want you to start by breathing in gently to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding it for a second and breathing out for 4. We're just going to do a couple of these to really slow down, to tap in, to connect. Being comfy and receptive. putting aside anything that you need to do later in the day, anything that's happening after this, anything that has already happened in your day that will distract you from this moment. You are worthy of receiving this moment. You are worthy of right now, right here, being with yourself, being in this upgrade, allowing in the love. So one more breath, counting to 4. And then when you're done that full cycle, just release any controlled breath. Really welcoming in the guidance, welcoming in the embodiment, opening up your cells to a new way of being, building on the things that you've learned, opening up the ways you've already been opening up. Just being in this moment for a second, receiving all that is here for you. And now we're going to call forward a new way of believing, a new way of receiving. And what I want you to do is to picture a beam of golden light coming from your heart. Feel that golden light beaming out from your heart, filling up the room that you're in. See if you can see and feel and sense the golden light slowly filling up the room, filling it more and more full with love and alchemy and transformation. Seeing the golden light filling up all corners, all crevices, all areas of your room with its powerful rays. And now I want you to see this light expanding even more, filling up your entire house, radiating out of your chest in all directions. Filling up your entire house. And now seeing the light expanding more, moving outside your house, filling up the surrounding area, your street, your neighborhood, coming straight from your heart, beaming out so powerful that it starts to fill up your entire street, your entire area, expanding more and more and more, filling up your town with your beautiful golden light, beaming out love and worthiness to everyone it touches, filling up your town, your city. Breathing in deeply, seeing this light getting stronger and stronger. Beaming out of your heart with power and passion, filling up now your entire area, your state, your province, filling you up, filling everyone else up. See it glowing. Expanding even further with love and belief and worthiness, expanding out now to your entire continent. Sending love and light and angels and energy to everyone that it touches. Expanding now even bigger, enveloping the world, covering the entire planet with your golden radiating light that brings with it truth, belief, and worthiness. Feeling into the wholeness of this light, the expansive energy that it holds, and how even as you're sending it out to others, it's also penetrating you, turning on your cells, increasing your worthiness, shifting your beliefs, alchemizing your pain into power, bringing forward that power so that you can live it, so that you can be it, and walk around influencing others, activating others, turning others on to the truth, to the light. And now I would like you to bring forward the version of yourself who feels worthy, whose belief systems are in line with an abundant, expansive, intuitive life. Who is that version of yourself? Bringing forward their energy. If you can see them, sense them, feel them, touch them, that version of yourself that so knows you're worthy from a soul level, unwavering trust and belief in that. And if you can, imagine them standing across from you, standing in front of you, that version of yourself. How does that version of you stand? How do you hold yourself? What are your thoughts like? Being so worthy, being so compassionate and kind and abundant, and so in the flow. And now I want you to see that golden beam of light coming out of your heart and straight into the heart of that other version of yourself. Standing there across from that most worthy, most intuitive version, connected by a beam of light between your hearts. And as you feel this beam of light, it is activating your cells. Her beliefs are becoming yours. Her thoughts are becoming yours. That you is being infused into the present you. That open channel is a conduit, is a connection of all of the worthiness, the supporting beliefs, the bravery, and everything that you are committed to in this life. So as you feel that connection, know that your cells are realigning. Your body chemistry is changing to become that person. Your heart is opening. Your walls are dropping. Your resistance is softening in this very moment. And as that version of yourself beams worthiness, support, love, commitment to the light, everything you need is available. As she beams that into you, everything you need is available from that version of yourself. You feel the light permanently upgrading your cells, releasing what is no longer serving you. What do my cells look like when they're turned on to worthiness? What does my body look like when I embody worthiness? When I allow in the things that I want, when I know that I am worthy, I become a magnet for the guidance, the love, the synchronicities that make it happen. Gathering all the love and all of the energy, the healing and the alchemizing from this version of yourself. With that beam of light connecting your hearts, rearranging your cells, she effortlessly and graciously gives you everything you need. And now I want you to ask that version of yourself for any words of wisdom. What does she have to say to you about this journey, about your worthiness? What do you need to know? Allowing all the guidance to come forward, to go straight to your cells, straight to your heart, straight to the truth of who you are. As the wisdom is passed from you to you, it embodies easily, it integrates effortlessly because you are open and you are receptive and you're embodying who you truly are. Asking if there is any last things that you need to know. And now thanking that version of yourself Maybe as you get ready to part, giving them a hug, a high five, a nod, whatever feels right for you. Being in gratitude for the healing, for the wisdom, for the strength, for the light. Saying thank you as you part. And now focusing on that golden beam of light that has filled up the room, your home, your neighborhood, your area, your country, the world. The beam of light that has been shared with that higher version of yourself, with your innate worthiness, and has transported the wisdom you need into your cells. Not only are you beaming light out, it's a two-way portal where you receive everything you need to receive. Calling on your team of light. Help me to integrate this realization and this worthiness permanently and forever. Help me to integrate this cellular upgrade into my life, forever changing my beliefs and what I believe I'm worthy of. Forever now at an elevated place of worthiness, never needing to revisit those old beliefs. Integrating permanently into your cells. And thanking your team of light for helping you to release anything that is not serving you, that is getting in your way of receiving everything that is here for you. Releasing, receiving, releasing, receiving. Upgrade. Releasing, receiving, releasing, receiving. Upgrade. Feeling the warm love and light of worthiness and connection filling your body. Coming back to your breath, seeing your cells realigned, feeling that beam of light that is always there. Helping others, helping yourself, alchemizing your pain into power, alchemizing the low into high, alchemizing resistance into receiving. Thank you, team of light, for helping me with this permanent upgrade and change. Coming back to your breath, starting to become aware of the ebb and flow, witnessing the in and out, the release, the receive, the receive, the release. That is life. That is you. That is upgrade. Becoming more aware of your breath, aware of the physical sensation, aware of your physical breath while also being aware of your energy upgrade. becoming more present in the room. Becoming aware of the sounds, of the sensations around you. Still aware of the wholeness, still connected to the truth, still able to see that version of you, see the beam of light, feel the upgrade as you come back to awareness. Connecting to the breath, the physical body, allowing the mind to come back. You are safe to receive. You are safe to embody. Receive, release. Receive, release, upgrade. Feeling more aware of the room. Coming back to awareness. Feeling the upgrade. Feeling the flow of source within you. The buzz of truth. Bringing a little bit of movement to your feet, to your fingers. Feeling worthy. Taking a clarifying, refreshing breath in. Maybe the most refreshing breath you have ever taken. Receive. Release. Upgrade. When you're ready, coming back to the room, opening your eyes, taking a deep breath. And when you're ready, coming back to the camera. I love you guys so much. Feel free to stay however you are or come back to the camera. It's all good. My baby is crying. He needs me. I'm going to go. I love you guys so much. I will send you the workbook shortly. Yes. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for being available for this transformation, for the upgrades. And as I say every week, energy is very real. As it moves through you, you may feel emotion, you may feel yawns, you may feel anything and everything. Totally normal. Yes, just Braxton's kitty. You've got like a shelter over there. I love you guys. You're doing such a great job. I will send you all the materials as soon as possible. I love you. You are worthy. Let me know how this is going for you this week. I'm holding space. I see you as your highest self. I see you as the highest expression of who you are, and I'm holding space for you. I love you so much. Have a good evening. Bye, everybody.